So if we're going to blame anybody, we need to blame Disney.
So I was wondering, for you as an actor, like, how have you played him since The Force Awakens, and like, how has he changed since then? And like,
so I want you to look at his face before he says the lines that he's supposed to say.
what the future is going to be like.
So if you look at his mannerisms, the stuff that he's about to say, we know that it's CAP. We know that it's not really the truth.
Lord, I think with Force Awakens, it was a JJ conversation at first. We wanted to make a stormtrooper who was just larger than life, slightly had some personality issues, was always over the top and frantic and fearful. And that was something that kind of made his position in the First Order questionable from the start. Because the big major question to me was, why would a stormtrooper just defect like that?
Okay, there's only one reason why a stormtrooper would defect like that. A stormtrooper would defect like that because they were force sensitive. The clip that I used for the thumbnail describes it perfectly. Force sensitivity.
Especially a stormtrooper who's brainwashed. Like, is it a force thing or what is it? And I just went for the simple answer. It's a personality thing. He was just like, yeah, these guys around me are just too dry.
Come on, man. You know? And I say come on because, like, if we look at some of the stuff he's recently said, or we look at some of the other stuff that I'm gonna like pepper in the video, like, come on, that's not true.
I need to leave. I need to go. Like, he doesn't act like a stormtrooper. He doesn't. He's just like, wrong job. Do you know what I mean? And he moved on. But I think with the defeat against Kylo Ren and waking up and feeling very disorientated and confused about what's going on, and obviously, of course, wanting to know where Rey is, I think she is his only motivation.
Fundamentally, by what I just said, is that what he said during that interview, he said to get a paycheck, which is fine, but if you just look at his mannerisms or you actually look at his face, you just realize that he was just telling us a story. So what did John Boyega actually say? So let's take a gander at the Variety article from March 31st, 2025. John Boyega says Star Wars is so white that a black person existing in it is a big deal, and that toxic fans are okay with us playing the friend, but we can't touch their heroes. So fans did not make the call to turn you into a quote-unquote black sideshow Bob. Fans didn't make that call. Who made that call? Disney made that call. So John Boyega called out Star Wars for being so white during an interview as part of the new Apple TV original documentary, #1 on the call sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood, via Entertainment Weekly. Boyega debuted as Finn, or FNN 21871, which is, I believe, the Stormtrooper designation, in Star Wars The Force Awakens, and reprised the character in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So his role in the sequel trilogy led to online harassment from racist and toxic Star Wars fans, upset with a black actor playing a lead hero in the space franchise. Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something. Boyega said in the documentary, you can always tell it's something when Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian and had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough. It's like they just scattered that in there, bro. So they're okay with us playing the best friend, but once we touch their heroes. Once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering, the actor added, while also acknowledging that being cast in the franchise was a fundamental moment in his career. So the good part about actually reading exactly what he wrote, or actually what he said, is that what he actually said, he took solid shots at Disney. A lot of people are taking this on, and he does say stuff about fans, but what I just read, he's talking about Disney, he's talking about white execs, and he's saying it in a way where he's not going to get completely blackballed. So what he did say in 2020, and this is also in the recent Variety article, what I would say to Disney is do not bring out a black character. Market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. I'll say it straight up. So he also said, you guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. You knew what to do with Adam Driver, Boyega continued, but when it came to Kelly Mary Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know, fuck all. So what do you want me to say? What they want you to say is I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. And he goes on. There's nothing new that my man said. There's nothing new that John Boyega said. Now, it's in some ways, it feels like it's kind of like controversial because he doubled down, but he's complained about the fan base before. So it's not really like a controversy. It's just not. Or rather, it's not a new controversy. Fundamentally, it's misdirected. And the reason why I say like it's misdirected is that I understand John Boyega, he's coming up. He's still relatively young. Like, I think he's still like in his 20s, like, I don't know. I think 27, 28. He's got lots of years ahead of him as far as like earning. He's a decent earner. He's steadily in a bunch of different things. So I know, for example, he doesn't want to get blacklisted. So for him to say like Disney threw me under the bus, I think that's difficult. But that said, that's what happened. Disney threw you under the bus. The fans didn't throw you under the bus. In fact, a lot of the fans got really upset at Rose because of your character and because like of the perceived really connection that your character was supposed to have with Rey, if we're going to get really honest. So a lot of people, they don't want to talk about it, but the way they created that very first movie of the trilogy, we were led to believe that like you and Rey were going to be more than just buddies. That's what we were led to believe. And more importantly than that part, we were led to believe that you were Force sensitive. So like the scene that I specifically used as my thumbnail is a scene where you are Force sensitive. That's why I keep using that particular thumbnail. Every time I try to talk about this character, I use that thumbnail because that thumbnail is an example where we were misled as a fan base to be that he is, Force sensitive. And then they were like, forget about it. Like he's a Negro. We're not going to have him Force sensitive. So that response, yes, I think it was racist, but it was racist on the part of the establishment and on the part of Disney. So I know saying that is kind of tough. I don't know that you need to say it because you want to keep doing what you're doing, and that's all good. But I don't give a... So I'm going to say it. That was racism on the part of the establishment, not on the part of the fan base. So when they decided like, hey, we're not going to have a black Jedi, that was their call. Now, to be quite honest, what really kind of comes up for me that you could actually do, because you have a relationship with a lot of these big dudes, especially over here. You have a relationship with some of these people who have money in quote-unquote black Hollywood. I think you can just create your own black science fiction thing. Now, a lot of people, maybe some people, they'll think, hey, that's like a cop out or whatever. But I think like where we're at in 2025, I don't think you need to ask Hollywood for ish. I don't know if, I think that time is past. So if you want to have, just like some of the recent movies that you had, I think maybe you could get with a cat like Ryan Coogler. You could get with some of these cats that I'm sure you know, or they're friends of friends, and make your own IP. Go ahead and make your own IP. So fundamentally, what I think is like, you should team up with people like the people behind Black Panther, like Coogler. I know you know, like Letitia Wright. And not that you're going to watch this video, but I think the concept is basically, I would take like American blacks, so-called black Brits, and then like team up and make a so-called black sci-fi soap opera. That's the era we're going into. That's what I think needs to happen. And I'm saying that because like I always like to be more like solution oriented. So I think where this can go that would be healthy is how you feel. I would take that and write a script, get a script writer, and write a soap opera, not like, you know, specifically like a Star Wars thing, but something original where the main characters are people who have more melanin, where the main characters are dark brown, and just riff from there. And you could even like, you know, like have the main characters. I know your family's originally like from Nigeria. You could get deep into the home culture, or the culture of your family and your tribe, and get real deep and have that. Or, you know what I mean, like you could have it be like something multicultural that really is focused on different quote unquote melanated peoples, and go from there, because that would really be a healthy way to use the anger. So for example, if you can't really express the anger and say like, hey Disney, go bleep bleep, then take the anger, take a couple mil, create like a small movie, which is like a, you know, a quote unquote black sci-fi soap opera. You don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to do it, especially not with all, you know, like the new technology out there. So that's, I definitely wanted to do that. And that's actually one of the main reasons why I don't have a problem talking about this again, is that to me, that would be a really awesome way to use the anger. You're angry. There are good reasons why you're angry. Has nothing to do with the fan base. And I'm not caping for the fan base, but I'm part of the fan base. So I'm speaking up from that perspective. I'm not caping for the fan base. Can't speak for all the fan base. Don't really care. But I think like a healthy way to approach this for the future, just because it's going to continue to bother you because you were in 3 of those movies, is to take that feeling and create a new movie, a new universe.